If you're trying to decide whether to buy an Apple Watch Ultra 3 right now or hold out for the Apple Watch Ultra 4, you're not alone. This is genuinely one of the more interesting comparisons in Apple's recent history, because unlike most yearly refreshes, the gap between these two watches might actually be significant. Let's walk through exactly what's changing, what's staying the same, and where the real value lies for each option. Start with design, because this is where the biggest difference is expected to show up. The Apple Watch Ultra 3, launched in September 2025, kept the same general titanium case design the Ultra line has used since 2022. Tough, chunky, and undeniably rugged, but also noticeably thick on smaller wrists. The Apple Watch Ultra 4, by contrast, is rumored to bring the first real physical redesign the line has seen in 4 years, with reports pointing to a titanium case around 15% thinner than the Ultra 3. That's the kind of change you'd actually feel every day, not just read about in a spec sheet. If you've ever taken off your Ultra before bed because it felt too bulky to sleep in, this is the generation aimed directly at solving that problem. The Ultra 3 remains an excellent watch physically, but it's playing the same hand Apple has played for 3 straight cycles. The Ultra 4 is reportedly the one finally changing the rules. Now let's look at the display, because both watches are strong here, just at different points on the same curve. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 already has the largest and brightest display Apple has ever put in a watch, an LTPO3 always-on OLED panel hitting up to 3,000 nits of peak brightness, which makes it exceptionally readable outdoors. The Apple Watch Ultra 4 is rumored to push that even further, with some reports suggesting peak brightness as high as 3,200 nits, alongside slimmer bezels that increase usable screen space without necessarily making the watch itself larger. In practice, this is a smaller leap than the case redesign. The Ultra 3's display is already excellent, but if you spend a lot of time in direct sunlight, hiking, cycling, or on the water, the Ultra 4's rumored improvements could still be noticeable at the margins. Health tracking is where things get genuinely interesting, and where both watches deserve real credit. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 was the first Apple Watch to introduce hypertension notifications, using the optical heart sensor to monitor how your blood vessels respond over rolling 30-day periods and flagging users who show consistent signs of chronic high blood pressure. It also brought sleep apnea detection, an enhanced sleep score, and irregular heart rhythm notifications, making it one of the most capable health-focused smartwatches ever released. The Apple Watch Ultra 4 is rumored to build directly on that foundation rather than replace it, with reports pointing to a redesigned sensor array on the back of the case, potentially doubling the number of individual optical sensors, arranged in a ring pattern, compared to the Ultra 3. If that holds up, it wouldn't necessarily add a brand new headline health feature so much as make the existing ones, heart rate accuracy, sleep staging, and hypertension detection, meaningfully more precise. For someone deciding between the two watches purely on health features, the honest answer is that the Ultra 3 already does almost everything the Ultra 4 is rumored to do. The difference is expected to be in sensor accuracy and consistency rather than an entirely new capability. Performance-wise, the Apple Watch Ultra 3 runs on Apple's current generation chip and handles everyday tasks, workout tracking, and offline maps smoothly. The Apple Watch Ultra 4 is expected to introduce a new S11 chip, paired with watchOS 27. The chip upgrade itself is unlikely to be the headline reason to upgrade. Apple Watch chips have offered incremental year-over-year gains for a while now, but the pairing with a new software generation matters more. watchOS 27 is expected to expand Apple Intelligence features further, including deeper AI coaching through Workout Buddy, which debuted on the Ultra 3. Ultra 3 owners will likely get watchOS 27 as a free software update anyway, meaning some of the software-side improvements may not be exclusive to Ultra 4 buyers at all. A detail worth knowing before assuming you need new hardware to get new software features. Battery life is another category where the Ultra 3 already sets a high bar, up to 42 hours of normal use, and up to 72 hours in low-power mode. There's no strong evidence that Apple is physically enlarging the battery in the thinner Ultra 4 case, which makes sense, since a slimmer body generally means less internal volume for a battery. Instead, any battery life gains on the Ultra 4 are expected to come from chip and software efficiency rather than a bigger cell. Realistically, that means battery life on the Ultra 4 could stay roughly similar to the Ultra 3 or see a modest improvement, rather than a dramatic jump. If all-day, multi-day battery life is your priority, the Ultra 3 is very unlikely to feel like a downgrade. Then there's price, which matters just as much as specs for most buyers. The Apple Watch Ultra 3 currently sits at $799 or €799. Reports suggest the Apple Watch Ultra 4 could launch above that price point, largely due to the redesigned case and the expanded sensor hardware. That's an important factor if budget plays any role in your decision. You'd potentially be paying a premium for a thinner design and marginally improved sensors, rather than a fundamentally new set of capabilities. So, how do you actually decide? If you currently own an original Apple Watch Ultra or an Ultra 2, and comfort, sleep tracking, and long-term wearability have been your biggest frustrations, the Apple Watch Ultra 4's rumored thinner design is squarely aimed at you, and it may be worth the wait until this September. If you already own an Apple Watch Ultra 3, the case for upgrading is much weaker. You already have the large, bright display, the hypertension notifications, sleep apnea detection, satellite communication, and strong battery life. The Ultra 4's rumored improvements are largely refinements on top of what the Ultra 3 already does well, not a replacement of a fundamentally different product.